Hey, and welcome to another Tips for the Single Guy. First off, being single, do not put more than 250 grand in one bank account for obvious reasons due to the collapse of the savings and loan institutions along with other banks. Now, that's not to say if you've got girlfriends that have more than 250 grand into other banks, don't worry about that. Come on. If they lose that money, hey, it's not yours, so no big deal. So let me tell you why we are all fucked because the Biden administration's reaction to this debacle with the savings and loan. First of all, Silicon Valley Bank has been around for 18 years, and they lend money to startup companies, mostly liberal startup companies, in the fact that they donate to Black Lives Matter. But the bank is run by a bunch of idiots. If you know Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary, Shark Tank, you got to watch his video about how he rants how stupid these officers at the bank were. So what they did, they had $155 billion. Can you imagine that? And they bought government bonds when interest rates were going up. So we all know when interest rates go up, bond values go down. So they lost the majority of their funds. However, a lot of their funds were lost by investing in these ridiculous liberal startup companies that had no prayer of succeeding. But a lot of these companies had cash and they put more than the 250,000 in the bank. In fact, they put millions of dollars into the bank. There's a list of like 10 different startup companies that had over $30 million in this bank unprotected. That's how stupid these fucks are. So when the bank collapsed, they're only entitled to retrieve 250 grand. They should lose the rest of that money. But no, Biden, in his in-depth wisdom, as he crawls out of the basement, says, hey, we're going to bail all these financial depositors out. Not the bank, but the depositors. So he spent billions of our taxpayer dollars paying back these worthless companies that were stupid enough to leave their money in the bank. Now, who do you think is going to pay for that? First of all, we're trying to reduce inflation. So what happens when Biden turns on the printing press to bail out all these fucking companies? Doesn't take a rocket scientist to say that fuels inflation. But more importantly, who's going to pay for that? Take a guess. Well, Biden says we're not going to pay for it. He said, oh, the banks are going to have to pay for that by increasing their fees for NSF check fees, interest rates on your credit card, all the little nickel and dime ATM fees. Well, who pays for that? Not the banks. We do. But Biden thought he could just blow this right under the rug, and he thought, oh, we're all gonna believe that? Honest to fucking God, how stupid can anybody get? Well, we all know how stupid anybody can get because it gets stupider every day. What about 2 days ago when the Russians shot down our aircraft over the Baltic Sea, which is international airspace? And what did Biden do and the administration? Not a fucking thing. What would have Trump done? Of course, we all know. All hell would have broken loose. But no, we just sit there and go, oh, yeah, well, that's too bad. Honest to God. Well, anyway, and another thing. This liberal bank, the Silicon Valley Bank, guess who had a lot of money in this bank? Gavin fucking Newsom. Of course. And he gets bailed out. And guess who else had money in there? Nancy fucking Pelosi. All liberals in this bank. There's not a fucking right-winger in that bank because they know it's a bunch of shit. But our government just bails them out at the expense of us. Now, I hope if there's one liberal in this audience that listens to this, wake up, motherfucker. Okay. All right, that's my rant for this evening. We'll see you next time. And don't forget to subscribe. I will give you a donut hole.